just wanted to participate in some more real talk. I've been kind of struggling lately. There's a lot of 1 year marks coming up for me that bring back a lot of really difficult memories. So I've been having a rough time kind of working through that. And then there's also been stuff going on in my personal life that isn't helping. So in therapy today, one of the issues I'm having that I am trying to work through is that with some of these traumatic events that I went through and the boys went through with my ex-husband, a normal trauma response is that you don't remember everything, and your brain does that on purpose to protect itself. And it's very interesting how your brain and your body just know how to do that. And I think it serves an incredible purpose. There's something to be said for not remembering every bit and piece of a horrific experience that you've gone through. One of my issues with that is because he got away with everything and didn't get in trouble. I have almost always felt like I am making it up, or I'm over exaggerating it, or what I think happened didn't truly happen. Logically, you would think that having the police intervene in many violent situations, especially where they have to call the freaking SWAT team, logically something would come of that. Even when he got arrested, was charged with a bunch of felonies, and the DA ended up dropping all of them except for one silly misdemeanor charge so that they could get him into specialty court in Washoe County. And in order to qualify for that, the case can't have any violent charges or felonies. So he went through a year of veterans court, which essentially is just going to counseling and taking a piss test once a week. And because it was during the height of COVID, they actually shut down the courts and the drug testing place. So there was a period of 5 or 6 months where he didn't even have to do anything. So he didn't even do the program for an entire year. And then unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess depending on how you look at it, all of his charges were completely dropped. There was no consequence, no repercussion, no fees or fines or anything. And they sealed his record. So it's as if nothing ever happened. Which is super frustrating because one of the things I've been trying to do recently is get copies of those police reports, at least statements that were made by myself, other witnesses, the police, I don't know, something to solidify that these things are real, they did actually happen, I'm not making it up and the system is just broken. So in therapy today, I was kind of talking about how I'm at a stuck point with that. And one of the strategies or things that I decided to work on is redefining what closure means and looks like to me, because I don't want to be stuck in this place of having so much anger and resentment. It does nobody any good. So I'm kind of exploring those options, just to see if I can figure something out. Currently, I'm just freaking angry at the system, completely and totally frustrated that victims have almost no rights. Like, the abuser has legitimately far more rights than a victim does. And I feel like that is just wrong on so many levels. I feel almost violated by it. Like, I'm a nice, good person, I think, for the most part. So to have something so traumatic and severe happen to you and your kids and have no justice served is, excuse my language, but a complete and total mindfuck. Interestingly, after therapy today, I had a meeting with my boss, and I've always like super appreciated his feedback and whatever, and he's known me for a long time, so he can probably sense that maybe I'm feeling a little defeated or, whatever. So he called me a little while ago and suggested that I listen to a song called Broken Things by Matthew West. It was super interesting timing because that is 100% and exactly what I needed in this moment. Essentially what the song is saying, it is a Christian faith-based song, but not in a way that it doesn't relate to people who don't believe in Christ. And I've always been kind of on the fence with that personally. Like, I don't know. Subject for another day. In any event, the song kind of talks about, well, how I interpret it is grace. Kind of was the main focal point. And it refers to grace as being a kingdom. And that it's this sense of, we all say it, like, nobody's perfect, we're all broken. But this kind of took it to another level. Like, yeah, we're all like innately flawed and broken to some degree, whatever that means to you. Like, there's extra emphasis, these freaking cats, for your additional enjoyment. There's additional emphasis put on that the mistakes that you've made in your life don't disqualify you from that. And being able to give yourself grace for the mistakes that you've made in life is a very humbling experience. Was kind of what I took from it, because in order to give yourself grace, you have to really see the mistake or the problem or the flaw or what have you kind of with a clear perspective. Giving yourself grace, I think, also means accepting the reality of whatever happened, whether it's your fault, somebody else's fault, whatever. And humbling yourself enough to say, yeah, I made that mistake. I've made many mistakes in my life, but I'm still allowed to give myself grace. I'm not perfect. I am broken. But that doesn't have to necessarily be such a negative term. Like, it's okay to be broken. You still have purpose in this life. What you do still matters. You are still meaningful and important in somebody's life, whether you recognize that or not, whether you believe in Jesus or God or Christ or not. Like, you're meant for so much more than just being stuck in this trap of, I'm broken, so I don't matter. I can't do anything with myself or with my life, so I might as well just settle for what I've got now, or place less value on myself. And that's just not fair at all. If you don't give yourself grace, and believe that you're worthy of having grace and giving yourself that, like, it's a tough thing to do, right? Very, very, very difficult. But you never know, like, what you're going to wake up tomorrow and do, and the impact you might have, or 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or whatever. One of the things I always like to think about and even say is that it sure would be a shame if you gave up on yourself today, or a moment right before you were about to do something amazing. Something amazing could mean a lot of different things for different people. But wouldn't it be a shame if you've gone through all the things you've gone through, experienced what you've experienced, survived, just to throw in the towel and give up before you can put those experiences in wisdom to like give it up to the universe, give it to God, whatever you believe in, and just really trust and believe that we're all made and meant to serve a purpose in this world. Again, whether you believe in God or not, we're all put here for a reason. My life experience and my interpretation of it is completely different than somebody else's, but that's okay. That's what helps people. That's what helps people heal, is getting perspectives from different people with different beliefs who've been through different walks of life. So today was a good example of that. I was given what I needed when I needed it, by somebody who could possibly feel broken at times as well. And they were put in my life right now for a reason. And I truly do believe that. And I hope that maybe I serve that same purpose for someone else. And it feels relieving to humble myself enough to say, yeah, you know what? I have really fucked up many, many times. And those mistakes have had some pretty severe consequences. But that's okay. I need to give myself enough grace to forgive myself and recognize that I still matter and what I'm doing still matters. And don't give up on yourself. Part of the song talks about, like God uses broken things to serve a bigger purpose. So even if you don't believe in God or religious perspectives, like, at least try to have a perspective that we all go through stuff. We're all human. We're all put on this earth to do something special and do something great. And once you open yourself up to that idea, it's just a weight lifted. Like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to know everything today. And in fact, giving myself enough grace to say, I don't know everything today. I'm not perfect. It's just a huge relief. I've kind of felt burdened, I guess, in some way by that recently, and just carrying a lot of guilt for choices that I've made that have severely impacted other people. But that doesn't mean I'm any less worthy of continuing on and doing great things with my life. So that's my thoughts on that. It's late. So probably, like, I talked in circles a little bit because I tend to do that. But sometimes I just need to get things off of my heart and not out of my mind, but just in the moment when I'm feeling something, talk about what that is and what it means to me, because chances are I won't freaking remember tomorrow. Or my perspective will be different tomorrow. And again, that's okay. I kind of felt like I had a little bit of a aha moment when I listened to that song, and kind of just really applied it to the place in life that I am in, and just was compelled to give myself that grace. I'm really hard on myself, and that really doesn't do anybody any good. Sitting here and thinking, oh my gosh, I wasn't good enough at that. I wasn't good enough at this. I'm never going to be good enough for XYZ or for anything because of the mistakes I've made. It's just cutting yourself short. It's okay that I've made mistakes. It's okay that I don't know everything today. But being humble allows you to give yourself grace. And when you give yourself grace and you are humbled, completely opens up a whole new world, door, whatever, to learn more. Really, I mean, if I sit here and think that I know everything, I'm not going to be open to learning anything new. I'm just going to sit here and think, well, I know it all. Nobody knows better. I don't need to follow the rules because I know how to, I don't know. But I do know being humble is a good thing. And I do know that tonight I am going to sleep, giving myself some grace for my imperfections, mistakes I've made, and going into tomorrow with just a really positive attitude, like, okay, I can do this. I got it. I've done hard things before. I can do hard things again. This isn't the hardest thing I've had to do. This isn't the hardest step I've had to take. One of my other favorite sayings that I will end this video on is, please hold while I try to remember. Like, in life, you get a score of 100% right now, today, in this moment. You have 100% because you have made it through every hard thing, every hard day, every hard moment, because you're still here. So you get 100%. A plus plus plus. So that's something to celebrate about yourself. 100%. You've done it for however many years. You can keep doing it. And you matter.